All right. So today I want to actually talk a little bit about the DNC autopsy report that came out today, guys. And I know that a lot of people looked at it and they said that, oh, there's nothing there that really explains what happens. But I think a lot of people who said that it was basically useless missed a very important thing that report actually did contain, and I want to talk about this a little. And I'm Broom. I read tarot for political predictions, but I also interpret data and pattern, and I can see through patterns and data, which I feel like a lot of people just literally want to ignore because they want a certain way, the narration to feel like their narrative to kind of fit a certain model. And I definitely do not do that. I look at the data, like the whole of it, and I dissect it to understand what is going on. So there was a lot of discourse in 2024 about whether there was some shenanigans happen in the elections, and it felt like there could have been because it felt like, okay, how he can win all seven swing states. It's like statistically pretty. It's very rare to have that kind of like a win. But then I was also on that train. It's like maybe something happened. Maybe there was some, like manipulation. Something happened. But after sifting through tons and tons of data, first of all, there were like a whole bunch of 12 million people who never showed up to vote compared to the previous election year. That already puts us in a very precarious position. And a lot of the things that happened of her losing to Trump, that actually matches a lot of the Democratic internal polling on how much she was trailing behind him. He was actually ahead of her in a lot of in most of those swing states. So I think most but one, probably North Carolina, but I could be wrong. But here I want to talk a little bit about the DNC autopsy report that came out and that nobody is talking about, and I really want to talk about that. Um, Let me share my screen and then we can talk about it. All right, let's look at this. And um, I also did post my what I think about this table on my Substack, and you can go check it out. But I want to talk about this. This was the single most important thing in that report that nobody, I don't know, I haven't heard anybody is talking about it. Most people are just talking about it's a users report, doesn't talk about the Middle Eastern conflict or the genocide and all of those things. But I want you to take a look at this. From 2009 to 2025, the change, how much the country electorally shifted towards Republican. And I wasn't here during 2009. I haven't seen what the actual enthusiasm actually looked like during Obama, but I was during his re-election campaign in 2012. I was here. There was a lot of enthusiasm. In fact, he came to my university as well for a rally. I remember that was like a lot of enthusiasm in my university about President Barack Obama coming here. So I want to talk here that if you look at from 2009, the shift towards the Republican is pretty real. Like this is something that we really need to pay attention to. What went wrong? Okay. But if I look at it, plus 13 change for senators, this is federal Congress, plus 41 change for the House, we can still come, like make up for this. Probably within 1 to 2 electoral cycle, we can close these gaps, right? Governors as well. I think this one is the easiest to close. I am very worried about this fourth column because this is not like a normal shift towards Republicans. This is plus 832, which is a ginormous shift. Why are we not talking about this? Why are we saying that somebody manipulated votes when we have these people who are sitting and actually are the people who who are doing your redistricting, voter rolls, registrations, map drawing, election integrity in every possible sense. This is a plus 800, almost towards 1,000 point shift towards Republican. American political system is not a top-down system, guys. And this, if you are a subscriber of my channel, I want you to please understand the basics. American political system is a bottoms-up system, right? What do you know? You are a card reader. Yes, but I really know very well the political infrastructure. That's why I am so good at what I do. But you have to understand, if you keep treating the American political system as a top-down system, this number is going to just keep on increasing. These are the people who takes care of all the things that you want to fix, but you don't know how to fix. It's kind of like a leaky bucket. You have the bucket, you keep filling up the bucket with water. You have all of these tiny holes which keeps leaking out. 832 tiny holes to be precise, that keeps leaking out your water. How are you going to fix it? You won't be able to. We need to turn this number around, and this is not going to happen in this midterm or the following presidential election term 2028 or even 2030 or even 2032. Look at how long it took them to change this number to this ginormous number. 2009 to 2025, almost 16 years. 16 years in presidential term is 4 presidential term, right? We have elections every year. We have midterms every 2 years. This would be at least, if not more, 10 to 12 election years that we would need to turn this number around if we start working on it today. So all the discourse everywhere, like I'm seeing that, oh, this number looks absurd because somebody did something with the satellite. Stop thinking about it. That way we are evading our responsibility. This is not somebody used a satellite to change this. This is totally on us, on DNC, that did not pay any attention to get this. This is the number, is the reason why we are in this situation. I hope you take away that from this video. And I am even I am on board with the fact, if anybody has the data, convincing data that said that 2024 had actually data anomaly, but every discourse, every so-called reasoning I've seen are all very hand wavy, and like the technology is like, oh, he has that technology. That is a justification. I want to know how he did it, if at all he did it. But this, nobody to blame. This is us. And we need to fix this. Otherwise, we are never going to get out of this situation. All right? This is something that is a problem today. And we need at least 10 to 15 years to turn this around, because that's how long it took them. And they were coordinated to turn this number into this monstrosity. We can turn all of these around, like these 4 in this election cycle, next election cycle, but this one, and this is what we need to turn our situation around for long-term sustained changes. So hopefully this is what you take away from my video. All right, and I'll see you guys in the next video.